Okay.
All right, this wonderful queen had a question. Go ahead and ask it, Marcy.
All right. I met someone, we're the same sign, Cancer and a Cancer, and I thought we were progressing. We're hot and heavy, and then I noticed a shift. I asked him about the shift, and he said he acknowledges there's a shift, and it's not like he's not interested. He just doesn't have a lot of interest in anything. He said I was a wonderful woman with a tremendous heart, but he hasn't fully cut things off. He's become more silent, and communication has completely dwindled. How do I let go or try to move on? I keep replaying our times together. We met in January, but I just felt like this was something, and I felt so stupid. Was it all a lie?
I don't think it was a lie. From what he was saying, right now, there's something about narcissists and stuff like that. I have to say this first and foremost. Well, because, how can I put this? Narcissists are self-aware. They just lack empathy. But they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how their actions could be affecting the other person. They just don't have enough empathy to do anything different, right? But he did try to say something. He did try to express himself. So this is a matter where it seems like possibly therapy, right? He could have some type of childhood wounds. He could have some type of mommy or daddy issue to where he's just an avoidant. He has an avoidant attachment style, and you're showing up as the anxious right now. Of course, I feel like majority of situations can be healed if the other person is willing to go down that route of doing that shadow work, actually getting the childhood traumas up and why they believe certain things to be true. But if you're already at the point where you want to let go of him, it's only been a couple months, January.
Yeah, we're in like...
If you've already lost yourself over a couple month relationship, you haven't found the things that you need to, meaning you don't have your passions in order, you don't have no type of hobbies. You need something to dedicate your life to, because, how can I put this? If you were to dedicate, you only dedicate about like 3-4 months to this dude. Imagine if you had something else in your life where you dedicated at least a couple years. You'd be able to see what a true investment into something is, and you'll be able to actually see whether or not you were truly invested into some shit. You weren't truly invested into this person, but you're mistaking it as so. And he's triggering your childhood wounds, your anxious attachment style. That's what I picked up from that, you know. The astrology and shit really doesn't matter. That's just
Yeah, I feel like that was a gateway, because like cancers are known as like, you know, soft, gentle, empathetic. So I feel like she used, you know, that sign similarity as like, this must be everything. But there's so many different things that go into astrology. Just because there's one sun sign doesn't mean that the whole aspect of them is completely like that sun sign. You know, so if you're going to go into astrology, it comes with a lot of detail.
Right, and that's why I'm happy I brought Marcy onto these videos too, because she's really deep into astrology and stuff like that. And like I was saying, like, when I was talking about therapy and all this other type of stuff, maybe he may be operating from one of his, south nodes? What is that?
Yeah, south node is like the past life. It's kind of like what you're comfortable doing. And at the end of the day too, like all signs, they have like a good side and a bad side. Like there isn't just this one medium. Like
I did not know that.
Yeah, they can show up as like their shadow. You know, with cancers, they can be manipulative. They can use their emotions and be like, oh, I'm going through this, I have this, I know this. But then in terms of changing those behaviors, they struggle with that. So it can come off as like manipulative. So cancers have those traits.
You know, that's actually crazy, because a lot of cancers that I've run across soon, they are very self-aware, like they like psychology and things like that. But then they be low-key toxic. But they know how to check you. It's like they're self-aware with their toxicness. You know?
Yes.
It's like they're not oblivious that they're being toxic. They're very self-aware.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, another cancer. Actually, so this may be a certain trait in certain cancers or cancer women. One of my homegirls, she's a cancer, and she had posted something talking about she's tired of attracting avoidance into her life. She wants to end that cycle. So is that something, do you think that's something within the cancer or cancerian sign to where they're more anxious by nature or something like that?
Yes, definitely. Because I have a friend that's a cancer, and there was a situation where like, and we were all different sun signs, I think Sag, Libra, and then like a Taurus, and we were all just kind of chilling, and then I feel like she kind of thought something else was going on, and we were like, no, that's not the case. It can come with a lot of like mental juggling, but then it's like they get into their feelings, but they can be expressive about it, which is a good thing. It's just that it can get very heavy, kind of similar to Scorpios, but with Cancers, it's like they don't really go into that depth like Scorpios do. Like Scorpios will kind of internalize and process it a bit, not faster, but there's a certain, they transition it differently. With Cancers, it's the same thing, but they tend to...
There you go, love.
They tend to... They don't go into that depth within themselves as much, they don't go into the darkness. That's what it is. Scorpios go into the darkness a bit more easier than Cancers from what I've seen, but still deep.
What's the north node of a Cancer?
See, you can't really tell that off for Cancer because you have different sun signs, different years of birth. Those play a role in what your north node ends up being. So I would have to get more detail to know.
No.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But the main thing that I picked up from that, you have an anxious attachment style. And if you're being triggered like this soon, that also tells me this isn't your first time being triggered like this. This tells me that this may be a pattern of yours that you have, which means that there's a root. Maybe it was, mother and father issues. That's typically what I run into, if I'm being honest with you. People who suffer from narcissistic abuse, someone has some type of family dynamic that wasn't right or that was twisted. And they learned that was the ways that they're supposed to love based upon either their dynamics with their parents or how they saw their parents treat each other. Like feeling as if you need to work for somebody's love or, overly attaching yourself to people, thinking that people are supposed to be in your life forever. Almost making them a part of your identity. That is an anxious attachment style. And when you start making people part of your identity, that becomes an ego thing. And any spiritual teacher will tell you your ego is the root of all evil. Evil, in a sense. I mean, but even then, yes and no.
Yeah, yes and no.
Yes and no. Because an untamed ego, rather.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm picking up, She just hasn't been able to tame what's actually going on with inside of her. I think the ego sometimes shows up as a shadow side. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't doing that shadow work, your shadow side will take over and you'll live out your ego. But if you intentionally pay attention to what's actually triggering you, what actually fucked up,
Right.
I think that'd help you let go of people. Then, of course, giving it time and filling your day up with better shit. Like, when you're going after a goal, at least for me, when I'm going after a goal or some type of passion or something like that, it's kind of hard for me to be thinking about that person, when I'm really giving my all to something I love. Kind of finding yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
No one wakes you up.
Yeah, that's real. Because a lot of the times, especially when things are very new, very distant, and you're very caught up, it's like a form of a distraction. You'll just use that as to put off things that you need to do. Yeah.
Right. Don't let heartbreak make you lazy.
Yeah.
Heartbreak will stagnate the shit out of you. Mm-hmm. And crazy enough, if you stagnate in the heartbreak, that's actually how you stay stuck in the healing process. I noticed my healing and letting go of the relationship was also counter, it was almost aligned to the other things in my life. Meaning, as I was going after my goals, after I was going after my passions, as I was healing, working on my body, I was naturally getting over the relationship.
Yep.
It almost had a direct correlation almost. Because my attention was shifting. And once you shift your attention in a certain area for a prolonged period of time, you see the results of having your attention there. So if you're pouring an immense amount of attention into something you love, you're eventually going to feel that frequency of love because you get back what you gave. Mm-hmm. But if you're pouring your attention into the heartbreak, you're going to get exactly that because you're giving attention to feeling sad.
Right. Exactly.
It's like this bathing manifestation in a sense.
That's real. That's real.
You can also manifest toxic partners.
Yeah.
From not healing your childhood wounds and, addressing yourself and, really being aware.
Yep.
You can manifest against yourself.
Yep. Yep. Because it's that attention thing, like you had mentioned. You'll focus on the pain. You're going to just feel the pain, And it's not in a sense of it's not there completely. It's just more of there's this thing, I forgot the comment they'll say, but never mind, it's gone, but it's gone. But the point is, it's as you were saying, the attention thing. Because it's that's your presence, that's your time, that's your essence that you're, directing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's it for all I have for that question. Mm-hmm. You got anything else you want to add?
No, you said a lot of great things. So
That part. That part. So yeah, I love y'all. If y'all want to ask me any questions, go hit the link in my bio, personalized video requests, and I got y'all. See you on the next one.